This version of the video is step by step, covers everything, and is very slow. I recommend you instead click below for a more interesting version that summarizes the components and then shows the detailed final assembly. Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how to put together this ship called Storm's Edge. It's a new fighter. Spin it around here and take it up off the workstand. You can see the design for this one. The ship itself has this long sloped cockpit. It comes out over a big rail gun just underneath it. Some various other armament coming off the sides. Two wings with this kind of a support or strut detail here. The wings themselves are sloped down relative to the main body. Everything comes back, and the rear are sort of flowing back around these white slopes. You've got these wedge sections tapering in off the fuselage, and then coming together with some, I think, some pretty nice color blocking with the strong contrast between the black and the white around the wings, and in the rear here, two different types of engines. Conceptually something for suborbital or otherwise. And then these two engines themselves having these sort of baffles that come up around it. And you can see that here from the top, the cockpit has this kind of nice canted shape. It's faceted using some panels. And then the transition from the cockpit to the rear is kind of nice, I think. These inverted 75-degree slopes at an angle, and then coming back into these sections, which are also at an angle. So let's see how it goes together. Start on the wing now, and if we look at the first subcomponent studs up, we've got a 1x1 brick with a side stud into a 2x2 plate bracket. It has a series of 1x2 plates, 1, 2, 3, and a tile on it. And this is going to go up into this little unit, which is anchored by a 1x2 brick with two holes. Into one of them is a brick with a side stud, like so. Another one is a brick with a side stud, which is going off this direction, and it has a plate on top of it. And then lastly, there's a 2x2 tile, corner tile, and that has a brick with a side stud in it. Okay? And this unit will go like this. And it's so complicated because later a series of plates will show up here to make this thing super strong. Okay? That's the first little bit. Oh, and actually we'll apply one of those plates now. So 1x4 plate right across here, like this. The next little subunit, if you look at this, has a plate bracket, 2x2. So 1x2 plate in the back, 1x1 brick on top. Underneath it, this is going into a 1x1 brick with two side studs. So. The other side stud goes into the back of a cheese grater. We've got a round tile and then a stack of a couple of clips. And this subunit, will go in here. Like this. The next little sub-assembly looks like this. So this is entirely studs up at the moment. So if I kind of pop this off. So this is be careful here. So this is a couple of 1x2 plates into a 1x2 to 2x2 plate. Bracket. It's inverted. There's a 2x2 plate and a tile, 1x3 plate. It's going up underneath this section, which has on one side has a 1x2 plate with a headlight brick and a brick with a side stud. Headlight brick has a plate on it. This is a, you can see 2x2 plate, 1x1 plate, corner plate underneath it, into a 1x3, 1x1, oh, sorry, 2x3, 1x1, and a 1x4, and a 2x2 tile on top. Okay, and if I put this back together correctly, it should look like this. And then this unit, let's see if I can do this, will go up into this one. Okay. So these two sub-assemblies will connect like this. The next little bit here is a this is a 1x2 to 2x2 bracket. It's inverted. It has a brick on top. 1x2 brick goes into a 2x2 plate, and that on top of it has two of these brackets, these plate brackets. This section then will connect in here. Let's see if I can remember where it goes. Okay, perfect. So it should go in like this. Okay. This next little bit has a bit of magic. I saw this in something that Sean Mayo made. So this is a 1x3 tile. It goes into a brick with a side stud and a plate underneath it. The brick with the side stud then becomes a receptacle for two of these cheese graters, which are pinned by one of these old levers, and and then it goes into the hole like this. The lever is in holding it. It holds those two cheese graters together very, very nicely, opposite to one another. But it's the stud from the side stud here that holds the assembly together. Back. So if I just latch this like so, then this unit is going to go up on here somewhere. Let's see if I can remember where it's at. I think it's right here. Looks like that. The next little bit is here. This is just a stack of plates up into a tile and a cheese and a cheese, and that's going into a 1x2 to 1x4 bracket like this, which then has a couple of cheese on it. And for now, this will sit on here with just one stud connection into here. Like that. And the last subunit for this subunit is this. It's an inverted 45-degree slope. It's got a plate, brick with two holes, and then two Technic bricks on top, which have a long pin through them, and a tile. And this unit will connect both the two holes here will go into this bracket. And eventually this becomes part of what mounts the wing section to back up to the main ship. Okay, so that's the first wing subunit. Okay, the next bit of the wing, we'll start with this component. So this is a stack of plates into a brick with two side studs here. That's into the underneath the back of a headlight brick. Off the top of the headlight brick is a brick with side stud facing this direction, a plate, and then another brick with side stud. So you got studs going all four directions here. Into the bottom of the headlight brick is a plate that itself is then into another brick with side stud. So it looks like that. Then into the top of this little subunit, it's a 1x3 plate It's got a hinge on top, a 1x1 plate with a 1x1 brick with a side stud and a tile, and that unit will fit in like so. Okay. And then the next little component is studs up, looks like a stack of plates, 1x2. This is a 1x4, a 1 by another 1x2. I think. Let me just top that out. Yep. And a 1x2, a 1x2 tile, and a cheese, another cheese. Spin around, so it looks like this, and we'll come in on top like that. And then the last little bit here is a lift arm. This one's 7 long, and it will connect in and give a lot of strength here to this little component. Okay. The moving to the engine, which is going to attach to this. This is a 2x4 plate. It's in the back of a couple of these round 4x4 cylinder bricks, I guess. Those then also have in them 4 clips, plates with clips, and this one has a 75-degree slope into it. The center core of the engine bit has a 2x2 cylinder. There's a 1x1 round plate there into the back of this little thing I'm using as a sort of exhaust nozzle. And I'm going to put one of these cones with a hole on top of that. Just get it to the side that I like. Okay, so then this section will fit on top of this one, for now connected by 3 studs, 2 from the hinge brick and the one next to it. So it looks like that. Next bit of the wing starts with this. So this is a couple of 1x1 bricks with side stud here in black. One of the side studs goes into the back of a cheese grater. On top of them is a 1x2 to 1x2 inverted bracket. The bracket has a tile and a cheese slope on it. Has this side of the bracket is a 1x2 plate and another cheese grater. And that's going to connect in just a second to this little bit. So this unit, if I take this apart just a bit, is 2 of these 2x2 plate brackets. They're at 90 degrees. The studs are coming off 90 degrees to one another. This one goes into a 1x1 Technic brick. It's got a tile on top, and then a 1x2 and 1x1 plate. Cut across these 2 brackets is a 2x2 plate. Here, and then across the top of it are 4 jumpers and 4 clips, and the clips go into 2 of these modified plates with handles. There's a 2x4 tile across the top, and then a single 1x1 plate here. And then let's see if I remember how this goes. So we should. Like this. Let's take a quick preview. Yep. Okay, so this unit looks like so. Set that aside for a moment. The next subunit here is this one. This is one of the old finger hinges reversed, so they get a stud, a change in stud direction. This side has a 1x4 panel on top. And this side has a brick 1x1 with a side stud, and then underneath it just a normal 1x1 brick. Into it will go a 1x4 plate, a couple 1x1s, and a 75-degree slope, like this. Okay. And for now, I'm going to connect that with one stud for a moment, and it will go in like so to one of those brackets. But you can see in a moment that's going to get a lot sturdier. The next little subunit here is this, and let's see how I disassemble it. Oops, it's going to disassemble itself. Just a second. So studs up looks like this. There's a 2x2 plate with the cheese on it. It's going into a 2x2 corner plate, and another 2x2 corner plate on top of it. Cheese, a 1x1 plate, a brick with a side stud and cheese, and a 1x1 plate here. It looks like that. And on top of it, we're going to put this little bit. This is a stack of 2 headlight bricks with tiles inserted, a 1x3 brick, and a 1x1 brick with a side stud. And it will just fit over the top of it, like this. And then this unit will connect into this one, and now we're going to cinch together very tightly those two parts that we built at the beginning. So that does like so. We're going to cap the end here with a 1x4 tile. And then the last little bit of this unit is this one. This is a 75 degrees slope, a cheese. It's on top of a 2x2 corner plate. And then into it, one of these nifty little bits plates with a bar on each side. And each side's going into a clip. This clip has a plate in the back. And just covered the studs with a tile. And the reason I did that is because this unit will fit up underneath here and give us some really nice color blocking along the top and a nice angle that wouldn't otherwise be possible. So I do that. It looks like this. And that unit's ready. Lastly, for components for the wing, we have just a couple of small things. This bit is a 2x2 corner plate. It's got a plate with a clip light into it here. That has a tile on top. It goes into a hinge brick, and it's got one stud into the hinge brick. The hinge brick has on it one of those thin 2x2 tops. It has a grate tile here. It's folded over on top of a 1x2 cheese. Okay. And then in a bit of heresy, I've taken some red antennas and I've cut them and put them into a 1x1 round plate with a hole in it. I don't feel too bad about it. So then I give it a nice look, and it was better than what I was getting with flex tubing or just the normal bar that doesn't have a round tip. And then onto this is a cheese grater into a 1x2 tile, 1x1 black brick here for some color blocking, a couple of 1x2 tile, so 1x2 plate and a tile on top. And we're going to use the cheese grater to attach that and the other stud coming off the clip light. So a little unit looks like this. Another little unit for us are going to be those baffles that are sitting above the engines. Not so complicated. There are 2 of those. We've got these little 1x4 offset plates. They've got bars put into them, a tile, goes into a ladder with a brick under it. This one's one of those offset plates, 1x2 plate, and then a ladder, a couple of round plates, just to cap things off with a nice look. So it looks like this. And you need 2 of those. And lastly, this is a 1x4 tile into a 1x3 plate and a 1x1 tile. So we'll put all the parts of the wing together, and we'll begin with this bit that we made first. Spin it around, and that's going to connect into this engine unit that we made. And it will just go together like this. And so connect up the studs at the back of that bracket, and then cinch everything together with that lift arm, which conveniently has holes on both sides. It's nice and sturdy. Like that. Then we will drop on the bent portion of the wing. Take that tile, go into these brackets. Just move this out of the way so make it nice and tight. Like this, and then fold this portion up. It's nice and snug. And that little unit we just made will fit in here, and then push it back against that stud. Now you can see the sort of cut angle here, where we could take the change of direction. This. And then this little bit with the tiles will just sit on top. That goes in last because it also locks this unit with the hinge, so you can't move anywhere. And then finally we'll attach those, the baffles on top, and those just go into the clips of the engine. Like this, and the one down below as well. And it naturally sets at a certain angle. You can play with it a little bit if you want. And that is the completed wing unit. Let's start on the frame and fuselage for the rear section. And we'll begin with this just simple bit. It's a 2x6 plate, 2x2, 1x2 underneath it, another 2x2 on top, a couple of these Technic bricks with 2 holes. And then 4 of these plates with door rail inside. And onto the back of this, we're going to drop this little bit, a brick with 2 holes, 1x2 plate, one of those 2x2 brackets with a plate in it, and then a 1x2 and a 2x2 plate on top, and that'll snap in like so. And then on the front of this, this is a 2x4 plate. It's got a Technic brick here, and then a stack of a couple of 2x3s and a 2x2. And we'll fit in like this. Then the next little bit here is going to go off the front of this. And let's see, take this apart for a moment. So it's a 2x3 plate. It's got basically another 2x3 underneath it, 2 brackets. One of those 2x2 brackets, it's got a jumper, and then a brick with 2 holes here, and that's to get a half plate offset. Front. And the back of that is a couple of these bricks with 2 holes. They each have 1x2 plates in them. It's going into a 1x2 and then a jumper. And then this yellow brick has studs on both sides. And so this little sub-assembly looks like that. And it will fit in right on top of the frame. Like this. Okay. Then the next bit here is a 2x3 plate that's got a 1x2 brick, and then a couple of these 1x4 bricks with 4 side studs. Into that are a couple of panels. These panels will, at the very end, will support just underneath a grip underneath the engine section, central engine. And so this little bit comes in on top, like so. Okay. The next part is a 2x6 plate. It's got a jumper, a 1x2 plate with 2 bricks with side stud and a tile. These are just, it's got 4 jumpers. It's got the yellow bricks with the studs on both sides, a couple stacked 1x2 plates, and a 1x2 tile. And this portion goes on like that. The next piece here is towards the back to support the tail where it comes together for the engine. So this is, let's see if I can just pop this apart. That's oops. So this is a 1x2 brick with 2 side studs. It's into a 1x2 brick with 2 holes, which then has another brick with 2 side studs. This is to make this part very strong. On top of that is a one of those brackets, 2x2 plate brackets. It's got a 2x2 tile over the top of a 1x2 plate. And then on top of the entire assembly will so it's a 1x4 plate, a bunch of 1x1s, and a couple of cheese. And this portion will sit right on the back here, like this. Okay. Then to come in, there's a bit of, oops, let's see. Then the next bit is, I think it's kind of nice. So we need a very gentle slope coming down with these down the back center of the ship. To get that, it's a couple of 1x1 round plates for height. It goes into a clip, and that goes also into a clip, a plate, and then a round, another round 1x2, which is then going into a 2x4 tile. And then I've got just to keep things thin, it's the top of one of those hinges, and into another 1x2 tile. And this little assembly will sit, goes down, connects to that jumper, and then should angle down into this channel. Okay. And that is perfect. Okay. We had just a little bit of flashing on the sides for that. And to do that, this isn't perfectly a mirror image. So each of these are 2x2 tiles, some corner plates, a cheese, and then I've got a just a cylinder here in the middle. And this will come in from the side and connect like that. It gives a nice set of just filling in around the side of the slope here. And do the same thing over this side. Okay. So it looks like that. Then on top of this section, we've got a couple of 1x8 plates. On top of those, I've got a bunch of these. I got these new parts, these sort of chamfered tiles. What I have 6 of them on top. These are a couple of 1x2 brackets, 1x2 to 2x2 brackets rather, into the 1x2 bricks with the 2 holes. 2 of those, and that's to give a half plate lift to this portion. Then off the front of it, coming down, is a 2x2 plate into 1x2, one of those 2x2 plates with the studs, and a 1x2 brick with 2 side studs. And this portion this center portion will come in and fit right on the top. Let's get that just right. And by doing that, these studs are where they need to be on the yellow bits, and then everything else is raised up. What is that? 2.5, 3.5 plates. Lastly, for this little portion, before we start to attach more, This is just a 2x3 plate. It's got a couple of 1x2 plates and a panel on it, and that will come in on the front. Eventually this will stick right over the front of the top of the cockpit. So that's the top portion. Next bit of the core rear frame starts with this. It's one of those 2x2 brackets, a 1x2 and 2x2 plate, and then a 1x2 to 1x2 bracket on top. And into this black bracket will go this little bit. It's a, let's see here. It's a 1x1 with a side stud into the back of a headlight brick. The headlight brick has a plate on top, plate inset, and then it's going to be, for this at this portion, a tile. We'll hold it under the front of the bracket. And that's to give it just the right offset back. On top of this will go a stack of a 1x4, 1x6 plate. It's a 1x4 tile into a 1x2 and 1x1 plate, and then it'll just fit over the top here. These little sections, a bunch of trickery to keep to maintain the right color blocking on the edge between the gray and the black. The next portion is a couple of headlight bricks with a 1x2 plate in the back here, okay. And that goes into a 1x3 plate, 1x2 tile, and 1x1 with a side stud. And the headlight brick will go like this, and we'll get the studs flowing in a different direction. So. Then on top of that, it's this little bit. I'm a little reluctant to take it apart because it has some decals on it. It's a 1x4 and 1x3 plate, black cheese on top, 1x2 inverted bracket, two more of these black cheese, a couple of round plates with hole, and this will fit in on the top here, like so. And then the last little bit of this in the front, also some gymnastics to keep the color blocking. It's a 1x2 plate with a handle, and then that's going into one of these 2x2 corner tiles. You can hold it in place. There's a 1x1 plate and then a cheese on top. And that is so it can fit back behind here, like this. And then, but from the side, maintain the right blocking. It goes right from the gray to the black. It's being held from behind. Okay, so we'll come back to this in just a minute. Another bit here is this portion, this little baffle, and this is pretty simple. I'll just pop the back off. So, let's see here. Careful. So from below, you can see it's a series of plates. It has a, oops, maybe I can take this completely apart. Okay, a series of plates, like so. This on the side goes into a couple of these slopes with cutout. It's got a tile on top. Across the top will go one of these. This is a 6-long kind of variation of that 45-degree slope with cutout. It has also some tile work on top. The variation between the 1x2 and the 2x2 tiles is intentional. Like I liked where the lines ended up inside the ship. And into below that will go a couple of the 3 of these hinges with the 2x2 top panels. It happens to still have a 1x1 plate on it, which is handy because I can remember where it goes, and which is right here. And we'll cinch that up. Okay. And then in the back of this is a 4x4 wedge with no studs. Pardon me. And that has a one of those thin hinge tops on it. Okay. So if we bring back that bit of frame, then start by attaching this towards the rear. It goes into those 6 studs, and then we'll angle it in for the center. Do the same thing on the other side. It's a mirror image. Cinch it up. And then below, we'll go this portion. It's going to connect in on the 4 studs. All of the studs are going opposite directions. 2 out, 2 in. Looks like that. Mirror image for the other side. Okay, it's kind of nice. And then the last bit of this core center section, the ends. This is an inverted 75-degree slope. It has one of these plates with the clip light on it, right? And then a 1x1 cylinder and a cheese on top. And that'll connect into this exposed stud on the front, and then we'll rotate it. This nice angle. And do the same thing on this side. Okay, and that's the central core for the rear, the rear section. All right, now we'll start on the central engine, and it begins with this little subcomponent. So just pop this apart. It's on the bottom is a 1x2 to 1x2 inverted bracket. It's got a 1x2 plate on it, 1x3, 1x2 plate, and a tile. And onto the top of that will go this bit of black, a couple of 1x2 plates, a couple of these rounded bricks into a 1x2 plate, and another 1x2 plate and a tile. And this little sub-assembly looks like that. And then it's going to plug into this little bit, which is let's set it aside, so a 2x2 plate bracket with side studs, then a series of plates, a 1x4 and a 2x2 corner plate. It's got one of these nice curved bricks on top of it with a couple of 1x2s. And then this portion will connect in. So those 3 studs. Okay, we'll set this aside for just a second. So the white portion, the central engine looks like this. There's a 1x1 plate with a clip light. It goes into, on one side, a stack of a 1x2, 1x1, 1x1 plates. It's got a tile on top. It has a 1x2 tile on the exposed stud. And then going in the clip light in the other direction, it's mounted up underneath a 2x2 plate bracket. That plate bracket has a 1x2 plate underneath it. It's got a plate here and a 1x1 plate there. Okay. So on top of this, we'll put this little stack of plates and a cheese grater. Looks like that. There's a 1x1 brick with a tile. Looks like that. And a 1x2 brick with 2 holes, one of which has a plate in it. This next little bit is an inverted 33-degree slope. It has on top of it a plate, a 1x3 plate tile. It's going into a plate in the back of a 1x1 Technic brick. And that's to get a stud going out this direction, which is in the back of this cheese slope. Let's stitch that back up. And a couple of plates. And this portion will then connect in here, like so. This little component is rather complicated. Just twist this. Then on the back of this is a 75-degree slope with slope with 2 sides that are convex. Goes into a couple of plates and a tile on top. Underneath it is a 2x3 plate. It's got a cheese and a 1x2 plate. And this portion will connect in here. Like so. Stitch that up. It begins to look like this. Okay. Bringing back the black. The black portion here is going to go in with this stud into the back of that exposed 1x2 brick with the 2 holes. So it looks like this. Okay. Then just to finish it off, this is a 1x1 brick. It's got a plate and a cheese, and we'll come in on top, like so. Okay. There is a mirror image over here, with one exception. This is stacked a couple of 1x2 plates and a 1x2 tile on top, and we will put these two together from this side, like this. And then in the center here, we'll put these. These 1x3 plates with some bright blue trans round tiles on them. And those are going into those brackets. Hold it from this side. Okay. And there is the central engine. All right, now we'll start on the frame for the front section of the ship. And there's a bunch of little small components here. I'll blast through pretty quickly. This one starts with the yellow bit here is a 2x2 plate with the round extension. It's got a tile up underneath it, and then a couple of 1x6 plates. And it's intentional that they're 1x6 rather than a 2x6 because underneath it are the new style jumpers. I've inserted 4 of those back up here. Okay. A couple plates on top. And that's going to connect into this unit, which is a new style. What did I say? New style. It's a 2x2 plate bracket. The red bit is a 2x2 plate. It's got a 2x3 plate on top of it. Another 1x6 plate across the top. 2 more of those new style jumpers. 2x2 plate, 1x2 plate. And into the bottom here is a brick with 2 side studs and 2 1x2 plates. And this unit will go on top of this one. Like so. The next little subunits look like this. And so it's a 1x2 bracket and a 1x2 inverted bracket on top of one another. It's on top of a 1x2 plate, which is into a 1x4, 1x1 plate, and another new style jumper underneath it. And there's 2 of these. They're mirror image, and they should go on like this. Oh, sorry. It should go on like this. Okay. The next little subassembly is this one. So this is a 2x4 plate into a 1x2 Technic brick, and that brick is going into this. It's a 2 long pin, but then it has a axle on it. It's through another 1x2 Technic brick. That Technic brick underneath it are opposed 2 of these 2x2 corner plates, which got dropped into a couple 1x1 plates into 2 new style jumpers. And this will slide in here and then come down like this. Okay. Next subassembly is this one, and this is a pop this off. So a 1x2 Technic brick into a 1x1 brick. It's up underneath the red bit is a 2x3 plate. That plate has these are 2 headlight bricks, and then this is a brick with 2 side studs, and those studs are going in the back of 2 more headlight bricks. On top of it, 2 jumper plates and a 1x4 tile and a 1x1 plate. And let's see, and this unit will go up underneath here. Okay. And you can start to see now we've got this 3 section now is centered relative to the body of the ship. A couple of these long units now. This is a 12 long plate. It's got a couple jumpers on it, and then it's stacked a couple of 1x3 plates and a 1x3 tile. Got 2 of these, and let's see. And then this unit, the plate will come along the underneath here, and so you can start to see it's going to use the center of those new style jumper plates for a 4 long section here. And on the other side as well. Oh, wait a minute. Incorrect. Let's do it the opposite way. So like this. And like this. That's much better. Next little subassembly. It's a crack this. So you can see a 2x3 plate. It's got a couple of 1x3s underneath it, and the 1x2 to 1x2 brackets on top. It's going into a 1x3 plate, which then itself has to a 1x3 plate, 2x3 plate, and then here a couple of jumpers with the 1x1s on them. And this unit will come up underneath from below. And cinch that up. So it looks like this. And then a couple of just cheese, like so, and each of these has a plate underneath it. Then the next little sub-assembly looks like this. So this is a series of 1x2 to 1x4 brackets with some stuff on top. So the first one of those is here. So you can see a black 1x1 plate. It has a 1x2 to 1x2 inverted bracket with this 2x4 dark blue plate on it. It will then go in here underneath to the 1x4 plate that itself has another. Oops, sorry. Crack this open. So the 1x4 plate has a 1x2 and 1x1 plate on it. It's going up underneath another one of those 1x2 to 1x4 brackets. This last bracket has a jumper on it, and then there's one more plate on top. So it looks like this. And I've got two 1x2 to 1x2 inverted brackets connected with a modified tile. It's got 2 studs that will just sit on top like this. This is a brick with a slot in it. Later, the back section is going to slide into it. It's got a 2x4 and 1x2 plate on top, and it will sit up on top like this. And then the last bit of this component is this guy. This is a 2x2 corner plate sitting underneath a 2x3 plate. Then there are 4 of these 45-degree slopes with cutout. Into the center channel, then on top of that is a 2x2 plate. It's got a cheese and a 1x2 tile. This and this unit will connect it on top, just like this, I believe. Okay. And so you need two of these. It's a mirror image. And we come back to this assembly now, and we'll connect this up on top, like so. Nice and tight, very sturdy. Okay. And that's the frame for the front section of the ship. We'll begin on the cockpit now, and we'll begin with some small sub-assemblies. This is two opposed, let's just take this, oops, crack this open. So this is a 1x4 plate with a 1x2 tile on top. And it's resting in a 2x2 bracket with a jumper on it. There's an opposed 2x2 bracket underneath it, and that's cinched up with a 2x2 tile, like this. There's a mirror image version here, and these two come together and are held across the jumpers with a 2x2 plate. That itself has two jumpers in it. So getting something that's offset by half a stud this way and then centered this way. The next little subcomponent looks like this. So it's a couple of these plates with top clips into two plates with bars. Underneath it, held together with a 2x2 plate. Into a 2x2 plate, into a 2x2 plate with two jumpers on it, into a 2x3 plate with three jumpers on it, and a 1x2 plate on top. So you get this sort of stair-step bit. See where that goes in just a minute. That little component is going to connect to our pilot. I cheated a bit because our pilot is controlling two control sticks which go to something which is not connected anywhere, but it'll be hidden back behind things later when we put together the cockpit. I think it's okay. And he's on top of a 1x2 plate and a 1x2 to 1x2 bracket into a 2x2 plate with a 1x2 to 1x2 inverted bracket and a plate on top. And this little component will come in here. Okay. And back to where we started, the first bit all these four studs will come in here. And that holds the front and snugs up the back. The next bit is this. It's a stack of, it's a 1x3 plate to a white 1x1 clip. It has a too long plate with a bar and one of the new style jumpers and a cheese on it. It's into a 1x3 plate and a tile, and then a couple of these 1x2 plates with bar separated by a plate, and another cheese. And this segment will latch right in here in the front into those jumpers. Into that, we've got a stack of, it's a 1x2 plate, a nice translate blue panel, which is going into a stack of two of these plates with a clip, with a center clip, separated by a 1x2 plate. Oops, let me just push this up slightly. And so if we go back to this segment, then we will attach the panel in the center like this. Okay. And all this fiddling is to give space later for the panels which will come and surround this. And so a good way to do that was this connection up through the combination of the clips and the bars. Into this exposed stud in the front, I'm going to connect, this is a 1x2 brick with two side studs. One of those is going into an 18-degree slope, which then itself has here yet another brick with 2 side studs. And so it's going to look like this, and I'll cap it off on the other side with another 18-degree slope. Okay, so it's angled just slightly. Then around the back, this is another trans-light blue panel. This one has a 1x2 trans-light blue plate on top of it. To the back is this black plate with a clip in the center, and then a black 1x2 plate. The clip's going into with a stud reversal into a 1x2 plate with a bar on it, which itself goes into a 1x3 and then a 1x2 plate. And the 1x2 plate is connected right in the center, these 2 open sockets underneath a 2x4 tile. And that leaves exactly a half plate gap between the tile and these top plates up here, which we will later fill with a panel. So coming around the back, then we can connect this in. And I'm going to these jumpers and pull everything together here. Center. Looks like that. Okay. The next bit, make one of the sides. This is a 1x3 plate. It's got the red bit is a 1x2 plate with 2 clips. It's going into a 1x1 plate with a bar. That plate has a 1x1 plate underneath it. Across the top of this, a 1x1 plate and a 2x2 tile. So I'm going to connect into it this bit. This is a 1x2. Let me take this apart. So it's a 1x4 plate. I've got one of the old style finger hinges with the reverse up underneath it, and 2 trans-light blue panels on it. Over underneath this panel is a 1x2 plate. Now that I look at it, I think I could have just done a 1x6 plate here. It's okay. And a 1x1 corner. Okay. So this then underneath it is connected into a 1x4 panel. It's got a 1x1 corner panel, and it's sitting on top of a 1x2 to 1x2 bracket. This bracket, let me just connect this up. This bracket doesn't actually connect to anything. On this side, the studs are there to hold this from being pushed inward. Just like that. Then this segment will fit in underneath. The top of this finger hinge will go in underneath here, like so. Underneath the plate with the bar. Into the top of the plate with the bar, then the other front segment got a, let me just pop this open. So 2 1x4 panels, 1x4 plate underneath, and that's going to connect into another one of the finger hinges in a reverse configuration. It's got a 1x1 plate in the front and a 18-degree slope underneath. So we'll connect like this. Okay. And this entire portion will fit snug here on top of this. Like that. And that leaves one stud pointing down, which will receive the last of the 1x4 panels. This. Now bringing back, here's our center section again. I'm going to add in here before we put the sides on. These are 2 stacked bricks with grills into a couple of 1x2s plates, and then into this 2x4 wedge, 2 sides. I would have used the normal 2 wedges here that don't come up, but they weren't available. But those parts aren't currently available in black. So it's like this, and this segment will fit in right on the front of the cockpit. Okay. So then we can take this bit from the side and bring it in like this. The tile will connect, and then we'll adjust the angle of the clip and the bars to make it nice and snug. Okay. And lastly, do the same thing on this side. And adjust the angle. That's just a bit of finesse. And now you can see the this. Let me just pop this back off. The 1x1 panels in the back hugging the top of there, which then gets sandwiched in behind this 2x4 tile. Okay. And that is the completed cockpit section. And we're going to knock out the component which hugs the cockpit on each side and provides some support to it. Start with something simple, just a stack of plates. This is a 2x4, 2x3, 2x2, and it's sitting on top of a 2x3 into a 2x3 and 1x4 underneath it. So, like that. This is like the slope with cutouts, 45-degree slope with cutouts, but it's a 6-long version. I really like this piece actually. And there's a 1x2 plate underneath it, and this one has a couple of stacked 1x6s and a 1x1. And then this is another one of those 6-long 45-degree cutout slope pieces. It's got a couple of tiles on the top, and then underneath it is a 1x6 and a 1x2. And so we're going to put these 2 bits together, like that, and then we should be able to pull this in over the front. Yes. So this bit will come in underneath it like that. And then in the very front, this is a couple of the red 1x2 plates. There's a grill brick, and then it's going into a couple of these old school 3x4 wedge plates without the cutouts, so it doesn't have anything to distract from it. And then it's going into a 3x4 wedge with no studs, and this unit will connects in here. The next little part is a 2x2 bracket. It's got in the back of it is a 1x2 plate and a 1x2 brick. In the front of it is a 1x2 brick with a couple side studs into a 1x3 plate. This is a 2x4 plate, and it has an 18-degree slope on it, here like so. The back of it is a 1x2 to 2x4 inverted bracket, and a red bit is a cheese grater. There's a 1x1 plate and a 1x4 plate, and this unit will come up underneath this one. So, like this. And then this is a couple of inverted 45-degree 2x2 slopes, and they're held together by a 1x3 tile, and we're going to put an 18-degree slope on top of that, and it will connect up like this. And then this unit will then slide in and hug this one, connect to those 4 studs on the outside. Cool. Right, we're going to knock out the railgun, and that starts with this little component, and we'll build up from it. So maybe just pop this off. This is a 1x6 plate. It's got a couple of 1x2 to 1x4 brackets on it, like so. And those have a bunch of cheese. Lock up like this. Onto the top of that, here's another 1x2 to 1x4 bracket with the cheese. On top of this one is a 1x1 Technic brick. It's got a gear rack, cinch it up again here on top, and then it's plugged into it from below. Is just a series of it's a 1x1 plate, and then a couple of 1x1 bricks. Okay. So this little element is going to go into the this bracket. Will fit into the slot that's left between the other two. That. The next bit here is another bracket, 1x2 to 1x4. It's got a 2x2 plate in it, more cheese on it, and this one will then fit in here. We'll cinch these 2 bits together with another piece of cheese. And then to finish off the front, this is a 1x2 to 1x2 inverted bracket. It's got some cheese on it, a plate, and a black tile. And this will be held in place actually by this stud. So from below, when I do this, you can see there's a half plate difference here. And that was necessary to get the nice flush, the flush front. So just a bit of trickery, but it's plenty sturdy. Okay. And the same thing will happen back here. So it's going to be held in place by the cheese. This stud will fit up underneath here, but it doesn't. But it's just touches it. It's even on both sides. The next little bit is this one. So let me just make sure. Yep. Is this one? This is at the core of this is a 1x2 brick with 2 studs on each side, and it's going into the back of a bunch of headlight bricks. 4 of them, 2 of the headlight bricks have plates in them, and there's a 1x3 plate on top. And this then will come in and connect right there, like so. This is a 1x6 plate. Underneath it has a 1x4 and a 1x2. Looking at it now, I'm not sure why I didn't just do 2 stacked 1x6s, but that's okay. And then there's a 1x2 in here and a 2x2 corner there, and a gear rack on top. And of course that will go right in here. And this is going to make things a lot stronger. So, okay. The next couple units, just hug the side. This is a 1x3 tile. Underneath it is a 1x1 brick. A couple of these bricks with handles, 2x2 corner plate, and a 1x1 plate for this side, and it will go in on top there. This side's slightly different, but similar, 1x3 tile. couple of regular brick, couple of bricks with handles, a 2x2 corner plate, and a 1x3 plate. It will go like that. Okay. Then, just to finish off one side at a time, this is a 1x6 plate. It's got one of these nice curved bricks on top. We'll sit here, and then I'm going to latch it in with another curved brick. Put a decal on this one. So you can see this side of the gun. And over for this side, it's these curved bricks. It's got a 1x3 underneath it. And we'll go in like that. And then cinch everything up with a one more brick with a curved top on it. Like so. And then the final little unit here is this one. It's another 1x2 brick with 4 side studs, and it does going into 4 different headlight bricks from behind. That's a nice strong connection. On top of those, we've got a 1x3 plate, and then 2 of these. That's a curved brick with a 2x2 corner plate underneath it, and it connects in like this. And so this unit will fit over the top of this one. Connect like this. Later, when I put the front section together, we'll run something all along the side for these headlight bricks, and the connection will get it much stronger. That is the completed railgun. Now I'll put together the rear section of the ship. And we'll begin with this fuselage component which we made earlier. We just spin this around again, take a look. Okay. And into this, we're going to attach the wings. And these look like so. And we have 2 of these. And they will attach in on either side this pin into the rearward hole here on this Technic brick, and the supports will latch up like that. Do the same thing on this side. Then to make this nice and sturdy here in the back, we were first going to take a brick, 1x6 brick with a 1x6 plate, and snap that in, and that gives a lot of strength. And then here below, we're going to drop in a couple of these pins. We're going to take a too long lift arm first, and then 2 of these pins. These are 3 long pins with a stud connection on them. Okay. And then we'll latch across the top of all of this, so hitting all of these studs, a 2x6 plate. It's got a 2x4 plate and some cheese on it. Everything is now very strong here in the back. And we'll tack on a tile. Make a nice finishing touch. Now I'm going to bring out, for a moment, just a temporary holding stand. Which I'll put here. Oops, sorry, I put here, just for a moment. Okay, get out of the way. Next portion to attach will be the rear engines, which we made earlier. It looks like so. Okay. So here into the rear section, and then we can take the engine, and this will slide in. Like this. And connect in. It's held by 2 studs, but moreover, it's held in, there's a series of those 1x4 panels that we put on the main frame are going to support this very nicely. And then we'll cap this off. This is just a stack of a couple of wedges, a 1x2 plate, and a plate with a handle on it. Go on top. And that is the completed rear section. Now I'll put together the front section of the ship, and we'll begin with this little frame, which we made earlier. And into this we will put the cockpit assembly. This component which we made before. And it'll connect in this plate to these two plates to these four studs. Like this. And then rotate up. And there are several things which are going to provide support to this to keep the cockpit at just the right angle. The first of those is going to be the gun, this rail gun component we made before. See like this. And this will sit in, for now, on two studs. Let's get a lot more later. We'll come back to cinch everything up. This is the gun portion. Then on each side of the cockpit, we're going to add these little bits, which we made before. And these slopes are going to fit in right, just the right angle underneath these panels on the side. It's a little tricky to get them in. And just cinch this up. Put this back into place. Okay. So, like so. Do the same thing on the other side. It's a mirror image. Very nice. Then to finish off this front bit, I have two of these long plates. I think they're 12 long, and they're stacked with two long cheese. And that's going to fit in to all the combination of the headlight bricks and those exposed brackets side. And this is just giving it a lot more strength, as well as a little finishing angle along the bottom. So that's the completed front assembly. Now we'll do the final assembly for the ship, and I'll start with this rear section, which we made before. One more quick spin around, and you can see that now back on the frame, there are four of these plates with door rails on them, which turn out to be very important. I think that is what is going to connect the rear to the front. So where the front section that we put together before has two of these bricks with slots, and so the rear will just slide into the front. It requires a bit of finesse. Channel. Okay. And once I do that, maybe you can see back in here, this cheese slope fits just perfectly on top of this tile with the grill that's on the hinge. The angles line up just very nice. It's quite snug. It slides in, and you can see then that these inverted slopes just hug the front of the cockpit. Everything is together, kind of just so. It's very strong. I'm just going to latch the front to the back, with these two studs. This is a small assembly of four of the slopes with cutout. It has a 2x3 plate and a plate with a door rail underneath it, a 2x2 plate and a 1x2 tile on top. And it was going like that. The rail, so I can pop it off easily later. And do the same thing on this side. Okay. Now we're all put together. For the final bit, I'm going to toss it on top of just a work stand. Here. So, and like this. Then all we've got left are these caps on the wings and these guns. The guns have very simple. It's this 2x2 plate with the round extension, has a cylinder and a cylinder tile on top. It's going into a headlight brick, a brick with side stud that has a plate in it. Then another assembly here with some pin joiners, a cone, and a little flourish for the gun port. and this will come in just on the side like that. Then to cap the wing, we've got this little assembly. It's a 2x4 wedge plate. There's a plate with a cutout on it. This is a modified tile with the 2 studs. Goes into a couple plates with a cutout, a 75-degree slope and a cheese slope on top. And that will connect in with 1 stud here, which is plenty to support it. And I'll just rotate it in to fit the exact perfect angle. Turns out to be just perfectly flush. And I'll do the same thing over on this side. And mirror image. And pop it off the work stand. This is the completed ship. Here's the stand that I put together, and it's very similar to the ones that I usually do. It has these lift arms can be moved to adjust the angle. The top for this one has a couple of these jumpers, the bricks with 2 holes, and then some of these brackets holding the whole thing together. So, and that will fit in just perfectly. Toss the work stand. Slot into what I left for this here underneath the ship. Can go on top like that, and then like so. Spin around, and up off the stand.